Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Republican Women Today podcast. My name is Eileen Sobjack. I'm the president of the National Federation of Republican Women. We are the largest grassroots organization in the nation representing Republican women from Washington, D.C. to Washington State, Alaska, Hawaii, and even now in the territory of Puerto Rico. The women of the Federation love their country, and we promote Republican principles. Well, I see our great audience there, and I know you're all excited to hear from our special guest speaker, country singer and icon Lee Greenwood. I'm so pleased to see all of you in the audience and to have this fellow patriot joining us. Lee's a singer, a songwriter, a musician, and an author, and I have admired him for years. He's most famous for his song, God Bless the USA, sometimes called Proud to be an American. I see someone has the t-shirt there. Lee wrote this song in 1983, and this year is the 40th anniversary of his song. The song was popular right away, rising to number 7 on the Hot Country Songs. And it's remained high all these years and reached number 1 in digital song sales. The song was played at the 1984 Ronald Reagan, the Republican convention when Ronald Reagan was nominated. And since then, Lee has performed this song for many presidents and dignitaries. He's an ardent supporter of our veterans and piano fingers. We will be discussing his new project today. I want to thank you, Lee, for joining us. It is such an honor. So what's the story behind the song, and what was the inspiration that prompted you to write it?
Thank you, Eileen, for the question. Born in Los Angeles, and the reason I was born there, my father joined the Navy right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Served 4 years in the Navy, 2 years in the Merchant Marine. I didn't really know my father well until I late into my teens. My mother was very hurt by his service in the Navy. She was raising 2 young kids, and they divorced. So because my mother had to go to work, and she was a comptometer operator at Standard Oil, that is an early computer, a comptometer. Then she worked Southern Pacific in the afternoons, and then she played piano at night in the bars. When women were not allowed to play in bars. So she put her red hair underneath her man's hat and wore a men's suit. And in those times when all men were at war, she was holding the front by playing piano in bars and allowing us to have something to eat. I was raised by my grandparents in Sacramento, California. I didn't spend much time in any other part of the state. I left home at 16 years old, equipped with a musical knowledge, and went to work in Las Vegas, Nevada. First Reno and Lake Tahoe, and then settled in Las Vegas. And I spent 20 years there. That's a long time to be in a place where you didn't have a career. But my career was making music for the casinos and for the shows in Vegas. When economics hit, I turned to playing something very simple, and that was piano bar. And because of my mother being a piano player, I also played piano. I also play saxophone and some of the other instruments in the band. However, piano served me well because then I could sing and play at the same time. It's hard to play saxophone and sing at the same time. So I did very well in Vegas, but I knew there was more for me. And I kept, pursuing my career at any juncture that I could. God stepped in and said, I think I'm going to give you a career in country music. That kind of surprised me because even though my background was jazz, rhythm and blues, and rock and roll, country was not really a part of it. However, it was a time in history when my type of country was acceptable in Nashville, Tennessee. And I moved there in 1979 and started my country music career. It did blossom rather quickly, and signed on the label with Reba McEntire, George Strait, the Oak Ridge Boys, and Barbara Mandrell. And we all toured like crazy people, every doghouse, outhouse, and roundhouse. And I had a tiger by the tail, and I wasn't about to give it up. And so for the next 40 years, I've been touring as a country artist and playing at venues all around the country, and playing for 9 different presidents, Republican and Democrat. not by choice, mostly most Republican. As you know, I'm a conservative Christian Republican, and I sang twice at the inauguration of two different presidents, 41 at the Lincoln Memorial and President Trump at the Lincoln Memorial. I also toured with 41. I was appointed to the National Endowment of the Arts Council by 43, and I toured with 43 as well, and helped him in his campaign. So I'm blessed beyond measure. I'm proud to address this wonderful gathering of women who are responsible for the grassroots growth and support for the Republican Party in this next election in 2024. Thanks for having me as your guest.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you so much. So what was the inspiration behind God Bless the USA?
Eileen, that's an interesting question. I get it many times. I guess from the very beginning when I was in school, because my father was a Navy personnel. From the very beginning, I took my band to McClellan and Mather Air Force Base, which are the two SAC command bases right around my home in Sacramento. And we played those bases consistently as dances. And I recognized the sacrifice of the military from the very beginning. I loved parades. I was a drum major for my high school marching band, and I worked with the military while we were there in high school. So as I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, my focus began to make a living and just survive. And I played and wrote music for a lot of the major shows. I didn't have much contact with the military during those years. I am old enough to remember the Vietnam years, and I was living in Las Vegas at the time, and I was totally aware of what was going on. But because Las Vegas and Nevada was much of a bubble, it kept us isolated from the conditions that continued to be persistent in the rest of the country. Young men were dying. Vietnam was something we needed to get out of, and we finally did. It was unfortunate how that war ended, and they called it a conflict instead of a war. It was a war, and we welcomed our Vietnam veterans home. As we move forward in time, I had an opportunity after my 5th or 6th album to have more input on what I was writing for my music. And one night between Texas and Arkansas, after a major show, I wrote God Bless the USA in the back of my bus. I took it to my producer, and at the time, Jerry Crutchfield and I had produced more than 36 albums in the future, but we'd only produced 4 or 5. We had a summer album called You've Got a Good Love Coming. You could Google that and find that video that we made on that particular title song of that album. But God Bless USA was going to be on that album. But it was Universal Records that made the call to make it a single. Had it not been a single, radio would have never heard it, and it would just been an album cut. Well, that's when God stepped in again and said, we want this to be the single for your life, for your career. And we're going to make you the guy that walks the walk and talks the talk about America and its future. And so God Bless the USA became more than what it was, not just a record, but it became the song for America for many years, including 2001 during the terrorist attack. And I sang 3 times in New York, where I am currently now, at Yankee Stadium for the 4th game of the World Series, the Fireman's Memorial at Yankee Stadium, and the Policeman's Memorial at Carnegie Hall. It was a tremendous time for us, and I was very wounded by it, as were most Americans. Moving forward, God Bless USA then became a very positive anthem for the military. And then, as you know, it became a positive anthem for our former president, Donald Trump. And I thank Donald Trump for using it, and I will stand by him as we move to the 2024 election.
Oh, thank you. Well, I want to share with you, back in the 1990s, my husband bought tickets for your show, and it was at the Northwest Washington Fair in Linden, Washington. And we were celebrating our anniversary because our anniversary falls right on Fair Week. So that's what we get to do. Anyway, I just remember hearing you perform, and you came down off the stage, you walked through the aisles singing God Bless the USA, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And there's just something about the lyrics and the song that you sing that really touches the heart of those of us who love America. And I think when you say that this is something that God inspired in you. I can see that now, because whenever that song is being played, people just start to sing it, and it just really touches the heart of Americans and those of us who love America. You've always been such a great friend to the veterans and so supportive. And now I really understand, the background of your life and why that is so important to you. I saw that you traveled to Normandy on Memorial Day this year. Can you share a little bit of your experience with us?
I did. I took my family to France for 2 weeks. My older son, who just got his PhD in cancer research, pathology, and immunology at Vanderbilt University, went with us with his new wife. And my younger son, Parker, who is currently in England as we speak, backpacking for the next 12 days. And his mother, my wife, Kim, is in London, just kind of keeping an eye on him while she's there. And they'll be home on the 23rd of this month. We all went to France for 2 weeks. And yes, I did make a stop in Normandy. It was 2 days before the anniversary of D-Day. And 2024, I will make a personal appearance on the celebrated day for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. So being in France was interesting because we also saw the original Statue of Liberty on the Seine River. And there's another Statue of Liberty at the Luxembourg Garden that is a smaller Statue of Liberty, recognizing the commitment of the country of France in the Revolutionary War that saved us at Fort McHenry as we became a country. And so the ties to France is very strong. My older boy speaks fluent French. My younger boy flees enough French to get by, but we enjoyed that time there. And now that I'm back in the country, I turn my attention to something that I think is extremely important. We are here to launch our new campaign called adoptavet.com. And we are very, very hopeful that people will go to the website of adoptavet.com, and families and caregivers can buy tickets early on for our 40-year anniversary of the film that will air in AMC theaters across America on Veterans Day. Be a hero to your heroes and buy a ticket for your veteran to go to see this show. It is an amazing artistic achievement with 40 artists who sing songs from my career.
Wow. Oh, that's great. Okay, well, we'll certainly post that and get that out there so every one of our ladies can promote this wonderful program.
Thank you.
I will certainly be there too. So as we're getting ready to close in a little bit here, love to have you sing for us.
I've been warming up all day, waiting for this.
Oh, great.
I recorded God Bless USA in 1983. It's on the album You've Got a Good Love Coming. You can Google that and find that video. And I thought it was pretty cool. Patrick Duffy does a guest cameo on that particular video. And during that summer, we went to Universal to play the entire album. And when Universal said, we want to push You Got a Good Love Coming aside and release God Bless USA as a single, we then went to Los Angeles and filmed a video of me very comfortably on a tractor, which was out in a field in LA, which I did as a kid, as a sharecropper, as a very young man. And there's some actors that portray in the video of God Bless the USA. They are not military, but they are just actors. But the original recording features the Gatlin brothers singing background harmony. But at this moment in time, Eileen, I'm going to sing this a cappella. And here we are in a conference room in New York City. And if you'll allow me to do this without my backtrack and my band, bear with me here. So here we go. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life. And I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, because the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. Because there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Woo! And I see the ladies back there, they are all over it. We have quite a bit of chat, so I will send that on to you. Some wonderful things that are being shared and just the appreciation for all that you do. I want to let you know that we have our 42nd biennial NFRW convention coming up this September 28th through October 1st. It's going to be in Oklahoma City, the heartland of America.
It is.
And if you are available, you and your wife, we would love to have you join us there. There's going to be about 1,000 conservative Republican women attending as well. So I want to thank you.
If I was to come September 28th to Oklahoma City with 1,000 women, I'd definitely bring my wife.
Yes, good idea. Oh, well, I want to thank you for taking the time to join the Republican Women Today podcast. And it's just been such a pleasure and an honor to have you. I thank you so much for all that you have done, for answering the call that God gave you with this song and with country music, and your love for veterans and the projects that you've accomplished. And like I said, we'll be promoting your adoptaveteran.com. Is that, yeah, okay.
That is
and
it.
All righty. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And just my little plug for everybody, to learn more about NFRW, you can check us out at nfrw.org. or on Facebook or Twitter at NFRW. That's nfrw.org. Thank you again, Lee, for being with us and joining us.
Thank you very much for covering our campaign of adoptavet.com. Go to the website and find out how you can be involved. God bless you all.
All right.
Thank you, women.
God bless you. All right. Thank you.